Jack Curran is one of the most decorated high school coaches in history.
His life was this school and his players. That's something that you cannot fake with words. Your actions have to back that up. And while he was able to modernize over time and obviously keep up with different types of things that were going on from a development standpoint, he never wavered from his attention to details and keeping the message simple and actionable for high school players.
Under his leadership, Archbishop Molloy was a powerhouse. He won over 2,600 games as a high school coach.
Costas puts it up. Yes! We won the game! I don't believe it!
I would tell you my biggest takeaways were simplicity and the attention to just small, fundamental details.
Back goes Baxter at the track, reaches up. He makes a running catch and crashes into the wall.
Those are basic building blocks when you're talking about athletic development. I think he really built his entire career around that.
Jack Curran had several mentors growing up, but none had an impact as large as Lou Carnesecca.
Louis was an inspiration to a lot of coaches, I think, just by the way he worked, how hard he worked, how much he put into it.
Jack played baseball for me. Jack was an excellent pitcher. I thought he had a good chance of making the Major League. He was in the Brooklyn Dollars here. A tough team, they had so many good players. But he was smart chucker. And that proved, what a great coach he was. The guy was a great teacher.
Lou's impact on Jack was passed on from generation to generation.
Jim Larinaga is probably a prime example. I had a great influence on him becoming a coach.
By George, the dream is alive!
1967 graduate Jim Larinaga credits Curran for much of his success.
Coach Curran did so much for all the baseball and basketball players for 55 years.
His teams won 22 Catholic school championships in that span.
We've had so many outstanding players here.
Stolen by Kenny Smith, and he's got a run-out dunk.
These are just some of the pros Jack Curran coached. Brian Winters, Kenny Smith, Kenny Anderson, and Kevin Joyce.
All the coaches in my life are great, but there's only one, that gets the dear heart that I have, and that's Jack Curran.
When you speak to players that played for him 10 years into his career or 4 years into his career, the experiences were very similar. And I think that's what is so special when we look back at Archbishop Molloy basketball and baseball through the years.
He has meant more to this city for the people who understand sports in the city than any coach there has ever been or ever will be.
He created culture at Molloy through his behavior. This was someone who really led by example through the way that he went about his days. He had a great desire to compete and win, and we all know that. We all know that he was fiery. We all know that when we took the court or took the field, he wanted to win.
And with all of his success in the one-loss column, his players will tell you that Curran mattered just as much to them off the court.
I think it's the relationship with the kids, the interaction with them, and seeing them mature, and then seeing them graduate.
Did a great job with his kid, not only on the coaching field, but he took care of them after they graduated, made sure they got into the proper schools, kept up a relationship with them. So he was a true coach, in the true sense of the word.
He was constantly looking out and trying to help somebody else. And that's a message for me that carried over way off the field.
He just cared about all the kids that went to Molloy. He just cared about them.
He was so passionate and so immersed in this environment in Molloy and the players that he was able to lead that you knew exactly what you were going to get every day from him.
I think if you enjoy something you're doing, you never have to work a day in your life.
To keep that going over time, you need a very, very special leader, and that's what Coach was.